All right, good afternoon, everybody. This is Rickford Burke here in New York Live. I'm joined by a few persons here. I have Member of Parliament for Linden, Devin Sears. I have Marcio Weeks, who's a journalist in the Caribbean. Soon to join us would be MP Jermaine Figueroa from Linden as well, and Junior George, who's a Grenadian journalist in New York. Share the link, everybody. Share the link. I think there might be some action again starting up in Linden. Let me see. Keep sharing the link, everybody. Share the link. We'll take a quick break. Let me see what's going on in Linden, and we'll come back to you. Keep sharing the link, everybody. I'll be back in 60 seconds.
We can zoom in to show you what's going on this side.
Okay, so we have
That
Member of Parliament
here,
Amanza
here
Walton
they
de
come.
Seer,
Persons
who
are
is also
standing.
on the ground.
There you go. This is we show
We're
you.
getting some live coverage
The
there.
police
Let's
are
listen for a minute. In the meantime, I'm going to
just
bring
standing
in
guard at the bridge at this
Devin
point in time.
Devin Sears and Marcio Weeks.
Wow.
So Marcia, just Devin, are you there? So what is going on here, Marcia? So Linden, which is Region 10, Guyana,
Yes.
the river, the Demerara River runs straight through it. And one part is called Linden, and one part, sorry, Linden and Wisma.
Situation seems to be at a
So
standstill.
the people attempted to block that bridge
No
because that's a
movement.
crucial bridge. From
Yes.
that bridge, you could go to other parts
No
of
movement
Guyana.
by the police.
And the police has been shooting the people live rungs.
As you can see, quite
These people are
a
protesting
large crowd out
the
here.
shooting death of Ronaldo Peters,
Yes.
who, according to reports, yesterday was hanging out with some friends. Some police officers were drinking at an establishment in Wismar, which is across the river from the mainland and from the main town actually.
Quite a
And
number of persons.
um,
So we're gonna head back down
they
this
got some
side.
report that this young man who was wanted for something, some allegation, was hanging out at another establishment. And
Still
they
trying
took
to find
the
Sheridan
bus of the
Travis.
owner
Haven't
of
seen them as yet.
the establishment they were drinking at, pulled up on this guy with some friends. They ran, he ran. The police just ran behind him and shot him and killed him.
And this is
Then
the
they
situation on
lied
the ground right
and
now
said that
in
he attempted
Linden
to jump
on
a
the
fence, and during some
western
altercation, his
side.
gun went off. When they checked the TV
Wisma side.
cameras, nothing of the sort. He just shot the boy multiple times. And the
MP
police put out
Amanza
a
Walton is
statement
there on the ground.
lying about the incident. And so, uh, and so, you had this protest last night, you had it this morning, and this morning the people were just protesting. The police come and started to block the road, block them from moving. Of course, that escalated. They started to throw bottles at the police. The police shot a young man dead. So within 24 hours, the police shot and killed two young men from this village. Let me get a comment of one of the members of parliament. So both members of parliament for the area are actually on this broadcast. Let me bring in Jermaine. He seemed to be driving. Um, I see his connection there.
Yeah, we could see that it is, but
It's trying to reconnect.
Richard,
Let me see. Let me see. Deven. Okay, so the other member of parliament is here. Deven. Hello, Deven. Can you hear me? Deven Sears, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, Rick.
Deven, what's your reaction to the killing of these two young men in Linden?
Rick, it was very unfortunate and it was unnecessary. First of all, after reviewing the footage, it's my opinion that that act could have been avoided. For the mere fact to where they apprehended the young man, there was no way that he could have run. They could have simply hold on to him instead of using live rounds and killing him ultimately. And then the incident today, why is this that there's a protest action and the police there are using live rounds, right? That again was uncalled for. Even on the bridge and all, there were reports that, in fact, I'm right here at the bridge. We have the police to the back of me there, and then we have the protesters more there. And again, when talking with the officers, we said it was unnecessary to use live rounds, and we cannot blame or fault the residents of Linden. We are a resilient people. We stand and we band together. And, our hearts goes out to the families of those young men that lost their lives. We have seen even the injured being, restricted from crossing the bridge. But
Okay, so we lost even there. The point he was making is that even the people injured. Go ahead.
yeah, so luckily we intervene in terms of talking with the officers on the bridge to allow those persons who are injured to return over to Wismar. So they're moving. The bridge is open for three persons at a time, but there's still a standoff, and of course, the environment here is very, very tense right now.
wow. Mr. Burke, I just wanted to ask, what is good afternoon. It's great to see you. Sorry the conditions that we're meeting under, but I'm just curious, what has been the response of the government to what is happening in Linden?
The government's response, there's no response. No, there's no response. There's no response. Even they're taking me for an officer right now. We could get to talk to some of the event body. Serious. No, no. Yeah. No, I ain't video. Yeah. There's an interview I'm doing with Rickford Burke. Yeah. So you see, there's a lot of tension here, and the government right now is not saying anything. All we're asking for right now is for justice. That's what we're asking for right now. Before we have a resident here as well, we're all out here. But the government
we're looking for justice because it's a young soul tech, and they take two more today, and they said shooting. They're shooting the media and also.
Yeah.
So,
We
Deven,
had trouble chase and
two protesters were shot today, Deven.
Huh?
Two
Sorry?
protesters were killed today.
No, one was killed, but there were several that were injured, and even
Okay.
the those that were injured, right? Those that were injured, they were preventing them from crossing the bridge. So that's why everybody is really, really upset right now.
But
You understand?
we have Marcia Weeks, who's a journalist in Barbados, joining us. Deven, this is not the first time this happened. Every time this party, the Indian-led PPP government party, is in power, they shoot and kill black people in Linden. Previously,
Yeah,
tell us about previous incident.
this is a repeat of. In fact, I'm just a little bit away from the Linden Martyrs Monument. This happened in 2012. This happened in 2012, where three young persons lost their lives on this same bridge, on this bridge here. And again, we're back here again. Young black men being losing their lives. This is nonsense. It doesn't make any sense, Rick. It does not make any sense. And the mere fact that the president cannot come out and meet the people the people of Linden and tell them something positive, man, that's why we're going to vote them out. It's plain and
Well,
simple.
the president does not view Linden as part of his community base. So that's not his political
But
base. So
if I may just, I mean, it's very shocking that something like this is happening. I know Guyanese who are in Barbados, Mr. Burke, are calling me actually. That's why I reached out to you about what is happening. So I am shocked to know that the president has not issued a statement to the vice president. Nobody at all.
well, the Ministry of Home Affairs, which is the Ministry of National Security, belatedly issued a statement about an hour ago calling for calm and saying that there's going to be a tough investigation. The government enjoys the police force shooting black people because they feel that people are intimidated and scared to speak out in this kind of environment. So the government encourages it. I want to know who authorized the live rounds to be shot. You just killed somebody last night. Diven, did you guys speak with the police commissioner or the
No,
commanding officer? Who authorized the
yes,
police to shoot live
we,
rounds at protesters?
we spoke with the commander, we spoke with the assistant superintendent, we spoke with the oh my goodness, we spoke with a lot of officers today, and the thing about it, all of them silently agreed that it was too much force. It was too much
But
force.
who,
They
Diven,
cannot.
as the member of parliament for the area, did you ask specifically who authorized the shooting
Yes.
of live rounds?
Yes. So one of the things that you were saying is that when the missiles were being hurled and whatnot, one of the senior ranks got injured, and that's why they retaliated. But I mean, come on,
So,
that don't make any sense.
But they were shooting with pellets. They have rubber bullets. You gonna kill somebody because a senior officer got injured?
Yeah, yeah. They were using a mixture of rubber bullets, right? And then they switched to live rounds. That's the most I can say at this point in
crazy.
time.
So you're telling
Yes.
me they don't have tear gas? They don't. What is what do how do they disperse a crowd? I don't understand. I mean,
Marcy, they were using tear gas. But I want to emphasize, and I wish you could share this program onto your viewers in the Caribbean for them to understand
it's been shared. It's been shared.
this is how this East Indian led government of the People's Progressive Party deals with black people in Guyana. Anytime you protest against them, you're shot and killed. Every time in Linden. You can't protest in Linden. They shoot
Yeah.
and kill you. And the current police commissioner was the commander
I'm there.
of that same area in 2012 when they shot and killed three people. He was promoted. He was promoted for killing those three people. And now he's commissioned again, and the police killed two more people. And all black people.
I was looking at some of this video footage. MP Devin Sears. It's all over Barbados. People are watching it. I just need people to know that people in the Caribbean are watching what's happening in Guyana. And I'm appealing to those of you who are watching. A lot of you. We just had the big thing that we had in the Caribbean where the
Encounter with the police, a lot of persons were shot and killed.
let's see here.
And so, questions were raised as to why the police were using live rounds. And so the situation has escalated. The entire town of Linden is up in arms and in uproar as to this escalation of this situation and the police use of force.
Divan, let me allow Marcia to finish her point and then I'll ask a question.
What I'm saying to us, us who are on social media, if you're on social media right now, you're from the Caribbean, you're on social media, it's important, very, very important that we highlight what is happening in Guyana. Very important. I remember, Rickford, in the US when George Floyd was abused by the police and eventually killed. We had demonstrations and protests all over the Caribbean. And we have featured this issue with Guyana several times on the program, on the Marcia Week show. And we have been asking for the region to come together. And I'm saying Black Lives Matter in Guyana. Black Lives Matter in Guyana. If this has occurred in 2012, and it is now occurring again in Linden, what else do we need to be able to call on the authorities? Why don't we call on our governments, the Caribbean governments, to look to see
Marcy, the Caribbean governments don't care about the Black people in Guyana. The Caribbean government care about the propaganda that the PPP government puts out into the Caribbean region. You have your own prime minister acting as though she is of some other race, disregarding the plight of Black people in Guyana. I also think that the leaders in Guyana don't do a good job highlighting the situation that Guyanese across the board who don't support this government, Black, Indians, Portuguese, who don't support this government, the plight they face. And but the Caribbean governments are indifferent. They're indifferent because they can't come to grips with the fact that in 2025, we have a racist government in Guyana. And what they do is they send out the few Black people, including my cousin, who's a house slave. They send out these few Black people in the government to confront the complaints that Black people make around the world. And so when a government sees a Black person coming out and say, oh, no, you know, look at me, I'm a part of the government. But they enable it. And the reason they don't speak out against it is because they want to be, they want the notoriety and the pump and ceremony and the money and the perks, right, that come with being in ministerial office. So they're not going to speak out against it. The prime minister, for God's sake, is from that tongue. He's nowhere to be found. As a matter of fact, I see Member of Parliament Amanza Walton Desir, who is also from Linden, on the ground there. Amanza, you want to say anything? You want to what's your response to what's going on here? We have Marcia Weeks from Barbados live with us.
Hi, Rickford. Sorry, could you repeat that? We went out for a second.
No, I'm saying joining me here is Marcia Weeks, a journalist in Barbados, and she's broadcasting all across the Caribbean. So I'm asking for your reaction to the initial murder of Ronaldo Peters and then the police using live rounds to shoot and kill a protester today.
And injured several others. And so, Rickford, for us, the question is, who authorized the use of lethal force on protesters? I had a meeting with the commander of the division asking exactly what the SOPs are, because clearly they weren't followed in this instance. There was no use of tear smoke. There was use of pellets after Dan lost his life. And we are even more concerned because the young man was not even a part of the protest. He came up from Georgetown this morning and was riding his bike. And it appears as though he was targeted. So
wow.
we have a complete breakdown of policing. We have a complete breakdown of the SOPs. And I think that at the bare minimum at this point, the commissioner has to resign. Linden cannot keep hemorrhaging like this, you know. We go back to 2012 with Shamroy and the other guys that lost their life. And nothing has fundamentally changed here. And so we can't afford another young man, another young citizen to be lost because the police appears either unable to do their job or, as is my suspicion, there's a lot going on in the police force.
They're following directions.
So there appears to be different people giving different directions, because I was on the other side of the bridge and a busload of police came and they had live rounds. And so I said to the on-scene commander, okay, where is let's assume we have to disperse a crowd. Where is the tear smoke? For dispersal. Where are the pellets if you have to fire? He goes on the bridge with live rounds.
Wow.
Something is wrong.
They intend to kill people.
Something is wrong.
Something
is wrong.
So, Amasa, what's your reaction to this? So, CGID put out a statement calling for the commanding officer to be demoted and removed from Linden. He's just gone to Linden. He was just sent to Linden.
All of them all of
But
them need,
someone contacted me and said
every last one of them.
the commander says he did not authorize the use of live rounds. So who did?
So who did? And this is the question that I've asked. Who did? Who did? They're telling me, oh, we can't use tear smoke because of buildings around. I'm like, there's a procedure for that. You evacuate those buildings if it's an issue. But deadly force, as any Farm 5 child could tell you, is always a last resort. So somebody has to answer as to why deadly force was used on protesters. And the police clearly failed in their SOPs this morning, because if you notice what was happening, the people were venting. You have a community that's angry, yes, they're blocking the roads, etc. They didn't damage anybody's property. One would think that what the police would do is, okay, if they're blocking traffic, you divert traffic. You understand? You do everything in your power to de-escalate this situation. Instead, they began advancing to the people. And of course, that escalated everything, because the people are already mad at the police. And so what would be the point of you aggravating them? So, Rickford, there's a colossal failure of policing. There's a colossal failure of just the policing structure, and somebody has got to be held accountable for it. I said to the police commander that at the bare minimum, what they have to do is withdraw that statement, because it is an insult to the intelligence of the people when they say, oh, the police were clothed in uniform, when the video clearly shows that they weren't. And so if the police intends to act in good faith, the first thing is to withdraw that insulting statement, because Guyanese are not stupid. We know what we saw, and we saw it from various angles. So at the bare minimum, or else if they don't do that, we will know that they're not operating in good faith.
What is your reaction to the fact that this only happens in black communities in Guyana? Every time there's a protest in black community, Golden Grove, the Henry Boys in Belladrum, Linden twice. This only happens in black communities when this PP government is in power.
Rickford, listen, we've been on the ground all day. We've got to get our phones and get them charged. So we're
Good.
going to cut off in a second.
Okay.
But in another few minutes, if you reach out, you'll be able to get us again. But we're on the
Great.
Wismer side of the bridge now. We were over on the Mackenzie side and at the hospital, meeting with the people who were injured, etc. This is a failure of policing, and somebody has got to be held accountable for it.
Okay, charge your phones and we'll reconnect back.
All right, will do.
Thanks.
All right, great.
Wow.
Okay, Deepen, thank you.
All right, do
This
take it.
is, I mean, as she says, seems like a complete breakdown of policies and a failure on the part of the police. I mean, it's a fair question to ask. Who authorized the live rounds? Somebody must have authorized it, or was it that they just got up and decided?
No, Marcia, that's the strategy. Would you believe that when those 3 protesters were killed in 2012, they had a commission of inquiry? Up to now, nobody knows who gave the instructions. We don't know who shoot. People were shooting all over. I don't know who shot. I did not give the instruction to shoot. The commission of inquiry was inconclusive. And we're going to have the same problem again here. Nobody shoots, nobody gives instructions, but the people dead.
So because that's the question I wanted to ask. What happened after 2012?
Nothing.
You had a commission of inquiry and nothing came out of it.
Nothing came out of it. And listen, the courts ordered that the families of those 3 people who were killed be paid, compensated. Up to now, they have not been compensated. Because black people don't deserve to be paid. That's the attitude of this government.
You know, Rickford, as I thought about this today, because as I said to you, there are Barbadians who have been reaching out to me and said, Marcia, have you heard what's happening in Guyana? And I ran to the phone and I looked and saw what was happening there. People are worried because they have family in Linden. And that's something I want to know. I was trying to get a sense of what is happening now in Linden. Is the protest, is it dying down? Is it calming down?
Not that I can see. And listen, it's going to get worse. I'm not sure what's going to happen tonight. I'm wondering what's going to happen tonight, because these protests tend to pick up at nights when people come home from work and school, and the place is dark. They could probably throw a couple of things around. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen tonight. Last night we had a standoff with the police, and what has angered the people is that the police completely lied. Let me see if I could get the video of the first shooting.
And while you're looking for that, I want to appeal to those of us who are from a different Caribbean island. You're watching me, you're from Barbados. I know my Barbados people are tuned on, those from Trinidad, etc. If you're watching, I think it's so important that we highlight. I want you to use your social media to highlight what is happening in Guyana. This is a recurring issue. They just told you about 2012. I've done several shows on this issue in Guyana, and I was even attacked by people of other ethnic groups and called all kinds of names. And I don't know these people and didn't do them anything.
That's right.
So,
that's fine.
So I'm saying to all of
I'm sorry, my computer was dying. I had to find the plug right away. So
that's all right. It's live TV.
Live TV.
Everybody, use your social media as I am doing right now. You have Facebook, you have Instagram, you have WhatsApp, you have YouTube. Use your social media and just highlight what is happening, because we don't know where this is going to go. Are we going to have more persons being shot in Guyana? So it's important. Become proactive people. The lives of Guyanese matter. Black Guyanese lives matter.
All Guyanese lives matter, but it seems as though for this government, only certain types of people's lives matter. Life matter. Let me see if I can find the video of that that shooting yesterday, and then we will look at it and we will read. Okay, here's the video. Let me see if I can pull it up here.
Yes, I'm here speaking with Honorable Coretta McDonald. I don't know if you know her.
Oh, yes, she can join us.
She's saying that she's so angry right now, and this is what I'm saying. And the reason I speak about Black Guyanese, Rickford, is that since I've started, it's about 4 years that we've been carrying reports.
So tell her I just sent her the link. Let her join us in studio.
Yes, okay. Of Black Guyanese, who believe that they're being discriminated against, and we've seen over a time and time again that there seem to be some disparities. Something is happening there, some injustice, and we're calling on the rest of the Caribbean. Can we peep over at what's happening in Guyana, please? That's my role on this show today. It's a call on everybody. Can you take a look over what's happening in Guyana? Yes.
Okay, Marcia, so we have the tape ready. Let's roll it. This is the first shooting of Ronaldo Peters. So we see the bus coming there. That bus is the bus with the police officers.
Mm-hmm. Oh. Mm-hmm. And the guys are sitting down.
So these are men with guns, plain clothes.
He starts running.
Right. Look, he's shooting the guy. He just stood right there and shot the guy point blank. Said multiple times. Now he's dragging him like an animal.
That's crazy. Was the guy armed?
No, and the guy was running. Now, after the shooting, they refused to take him to the hospital. They were circling the block to see if they see other people, others to arrest. And it was when the family said, "You circling the block and you just shoot this man in the vehicle breathing?" Then they took him to the hospital. By then he was dead.
So you're saying that this young man was sitting on the block. With Barbados we say block.
Right.
And they're whatever they're doing. and he was wanted by the police. He saw the police.
Allegedly wanted by the police.
Allegedly. Okay, thank you. Allegedly wanted by the police.
Right.
And based on what we're seeing on camera, that particular young man started running.
Well, all of them run, right? These are people just jump onto the bus with guns. No, well, he ran, and the others, you know, are now going to see what's going on. But he was running. Police officers are only allowed to use force when their life is, or the public, right, is threatened. This man is running away. Now, now that we've seen this video, let us go back and read the statement that the Guyana Police Force issued.
You know, I mean, you know, I have advocated for, you know, even in Barbados, so there to be respect for the police, you know, allow them to do their job, etc. But this kind of policing, there's definitely some breakdown here in terms of systems and following procedures, because it doesn't appear from what we can see on the video. We don't know what happened when he went in the shed there. But if you're saying, I don't know if he had, was he firing at the police? And you're
no,
saying,
he was not armed. He was unarmed. He was unarmed. So here is the police statement. Complete lie. And this is what goes on in Guyana. The police force has no credibility. They just lie. Anytime there's a situation like, they just lie. Now, this is a police statement. On Monday, the 7th of April, at about 17:30 hours, a police sergeant from Wisma Police Station reported that he received information that Ronaldo Peters, age 26, who was wanted for questioning in relation to a report of an alleged rape of a child under age 16. So they're sticking that to make it sound egregious, right? He was wanted for something terrible. Nobody knows about this. Nobody has heard about this before. His family, nobody. Anyway, and here when this rape happened, the rape allegedly happened between December 1st, 2024 and January 30th, 2025. He was seen at the Shaba Bar at 1 Mile Wisma Linden. As a result, the sergeant and a party of ranks went to the location. Now I should note, according to eyewitness, the sergeant and the party were drinking. None of them had on uniform. They were drinking. And they took this minibus, that black minibus you're seeing there, they took that bus from the owner of the bar or wash bay or whatever they were drinking at. So I need to put that in there. The sergeant and a party of ranks went to the location where Peters was. The sergeant was armed with a 9mm pistol and the other rank with a .38 revolver. These ranks were fully dressed in uniform. Now, let us play that video again. Look when they exit, look. They're exiting now. Nobody has on uniform.
Right.
Right? But the police put out a statement that they were dressed in uniform to give the impression that they were either on duty or this guy had no right to run. If you see a couple of people running out of minivan at you in plain clothes with guns, I mean, who's not going to run? Anyway, let's continue. On arrival at 1 Mile Wisma, Ronaldo was seen at the Shaba shop. Upon seeing the ranks, Ronaldo Peters it is alleged, began to run and attempted to jump a nearby fence. Now look at that place. There's no fence there. It's an enclosed area where there's like stock beer bottles and stuff like that. And probably have tables and they keep party or whatever. There's no fence. He has nowhere to go. It's an enclosed area. It is further alleged by the sergeant that he managed to pull Peters from the fence. And in the process of subduing him, his pistol went off and Peters was hit. He was immediately escorted to the Mackenzie Public Hospital where he succumbed while receiving treatment. Lie. They drove around the place with the young man in the car. And then they went on to say his body was examined and one wound was seen on the right side of his abdomen. Lie. They shot this young man multiple times.
Where? So is there a video where you can actually hear the bullets going off?
No, there's no video attached to this surveillance. This is a surveillance, the establishment surveillance camera. I guess it has sound, audio, but I guess it was turned off when they taped it. The sergeant is currently under close arrest. I mean, that's a police statement. Lie. Lie. And that's why MP Amansa Walton DC was saying the police must withdraw the statement because we're seeing in the video that it's a complete lie. And every time this happened, they lie. When they killed a young man in Essequibo or in Boston, they lied. They shot and killed a young man named Kevin Andrews on Grove, East Bank. They lied. They shot and killed Quindon Bacchus. They lied 3 times. The police issued 3 statements to cover up the lie. And when, you know what took an investigation? Riots, where they shot people. Then before the police came clean.
So hold a minute. So you had a riot because of that in Guyana, and the police shot at the people in that riot as well.
The people were protesting. And you know, blocking the road and so on. Every time, and it only happens in black villages. I make no apologies. This government is contemptuous of black people. You check throughout history, whenever this PPP government is in power, it is led by racist East Indians from the PPP. I'm not saying all East Indians are racist because that's what they're going to say I said. But the ones in the leadership of the PPP are racist and contemptuous of black people. And they only have those black people around them like house slaves to give color and the perception of diversity.
I wanted to ask because I noticed that the police, I mean, they're black people, you know.
But
so
that's the point. They incentivize these guys. Anytime they want to control black people, they send black police officers. Right? And that's what happens in Guyana. They send black people to kill black people. Look, just the other day, there's this big issue with Azzuddin Mohammed, a young man who's supposedly going to run for president. He's a billionaire. He was sanctioned by the US government last year for gold smuggling, money laundering, etc. But he's from the ruling party. He funded their campaign in 2020, but now they have a falling out. And they have these different agencies, but they're all under the PPP. The rubric of PPP. And they sent a black young man to fly a drone over his house, right? To get images, which they then put on their website. Anytime they want to target people, they send the black people and they give us a few dollars and we go, right? And we serve them like puppets and slaves. And the funny thing about it is, even in, I think, 2018, 2020, supporters of this same government murdered 2 young black men, Isa and Joel, 2 black teenagers, Isa and Joel Henry, from Region 5.
Yes, I remember.
These young men were slaughtered.
I remember that. We had a show on that.
They chopped them, chop their butts, chop off one neck. I mean, all kinds of things. Brutally murdered. And when the people started to protest, these young men, their friends and family, this government sent the police to shoot them.
So let me ask you something, Mr. Burke. With all of these incidents, I mean, there's a 2012, but then there are so many others that we've discussed on the show. Has anybody, appealed to the human rights, international human rights organizations, institutions? Have you done anything outside of Guyana to bring attention to what's
Human rights organizations condemned it. The Guyana Human Rights Organization condemned it. As a matter of fact, the Guyana Human Rights Organization called for international forensic experts, right? And the government refused. These people then went and brought in the international forensic experts. And the government refused to give them access to the crime scene of the body, right? Because the government wanted to protect the killers. The killers are from their party, the ruling party. As a matter of fact, the killers were so bold, they were being protected by the police. They went and shut up the home of Joel Henry, and the police did nothing. They were driving up and down, speeding their SUVs in front of the people's home, firing up bullets in the air. The police did nothing. That's what's going on in Guyana, and I want the rest of the Caribbean to understand this. So when Mia Motley jumping up and talking about Barrett Jagdale is she brother, she's joking. She got to be joking, because Barrett Jagdale formed death squads that killed over 1,400 young black men that look like Mia Motley, and she's never said anything about it. Never.
What year did that happen? Can you remind me?
It happened between 1999 and 2015, and it goes on to happen until today. But the death squads, Barrett Jagdale formed them. His Minister of National Security and a drug lord was running them, and they were financed by Barrett Jagdale's government and businessmen from the private sector commission. As a matter of fact, the drug lord that ran the death squad put out a full-page ad in all the newspapers saying that he was asked to supplement the police, and he was doing a national security job by running death squads, killing people.
Oh my goodness! Listen,
it was a genocide, and up to now we've never had any justice.
It's definitely a genocide. That squad that they had in Guyana, and we've reported on it several times. And I'm hoping, Mr. Burke, although we're talking about Guyana, can I just ask Barbadians I know who are watching at this moment, I want you to listen carefully. Listen carefully to what Mr. Burke is saying. Listen carefully, because it is alleged that our government is very, very aligned with certain gangs in Barbados. We know of that from the Good Friday incident, which is coming up. We have an anniversary of it that is coming up, where a known person, it's alleged, a known person, a part of a gang, a leader of a gang, was able to call the prime minister, and the allegation is that the prime minister took the call, a cell phone call, Rickford, from this. The police was trying to stop them from breaking the law, because it was in COVID, and they were, they set up a restaurant, and that wasn't supposed to happen based on the laws that we had. And guess what? The police had to leave that man alone, and as they would say, with your tail between your legs, and allow him to do what he wanted to do. So and so, Barbadians, I want you to listen to what he said, how the gang leader was asked to supplement the work of the police. And in Barbados, we had gang leaders who were being paid by the government. We don't have to say allegations. This was confirmed in Parliament by our Attorney General Rickford, where they were paying these known gang leaders. That means they know them. And the question is, if you can pay them to keep the peace when it comes to election time, I'm wondering, Rickford, is it a case that they could, as they've done in Guyana in the past, that they could now pay these guys to become to annihilate the opposition? I don't know.
Well, I mean, listen, that's what they do all the time. That's what they do all the time. And I'm not sure what's going to happen this time, because nobody's going to accept this nonsense. Every time you go and you kill a couple of black people, I mean, what is this? People can't protest? I mean, the people block the bridge. People block bridges in all over the world every day.
All the time.
All over the world. People block streets. You just heard MP Manza Walton Desir. She's the shadow foreign minister for Guyana in the parliament. But she's from Linden. And she just said the young man that was killed was not even in the protest. And you know what? The family is going to sue the government. And this government would refuse to pay it. You had Quindon Bacchus from Golden Grove on the East Coast, who was murdered by the police. I told you they issued 3 separate statements. It took a riot. It took a riot, right? And before I get to what I want to say, during the riot, the police pushed the people, right? The police started to shoot the people. The people started to head to Georgetown because the police angered them by shooting at them. They got to a point where about, I would say, 8 miles or about 5 miles from where this protest initiated, where the young man lived. I used to live in that village as a child. And there's a market there. And the people ran in the market and started dashing things around. The president went the same day and compensated the people in the market because they were East Indians. Compensated.
I remember that.
All along the way, the people are throwing stuff and so on. He didn't care about that because black people. He didn't care about the family. And they've sued the family. Quindon Bacchus' family sued this government. The court ruled that they had to pay people $24 million. A measly $24 million. The Attorney General refused to pay and appealed. Appealed. It is the president, when everybody started to condemn it, said he directed the Attorney General not to appeal. This is a fascist government. It's an ethnocracy. They only look out for the East Indian supporters. What we have going on in Guyana is East Indian supremacy, the equivalent of white supremacy. And they say I'm a racist when I talk about it. I don't give a damn. I'm not as a black man. You think that you could go and shoot 2 young black men and we, the black leaders, must stay quiet?
Yeah. But if I may say, though, I did interview on my show, Mr. Burke, East Indians who are not in the government and who are really not in agreement.
Of course, and that's why I said it is across the board. They're racist, but they also go after people who don't support them. East Indians who don't support them, Americans who don't support them, but they are particularly callous and contemptuous of blacks because it is part of their DNA. It is part of the DNA of the ruling party, the PPP, to hate black people. I don't care what they tell me. In 1964, when they lost power, they burned the whole country down. They burnt black villages, sent their people to slaughter black people. From when they took power again, from 1999 straight to 2015, that's what's killing people. Every time they're in power, that's what they do. And for the life of me, I don't understand why Guyanese of all races don't understand that these people are Hitlers.
So let me ask you, I want to, I mean, there's CARICOM and you're you have a CARICOM office in Guyana, don't you?
The CARICOM headquarters is in Guyana.
The headquarters, that's what I wanted to say. The headquarters.
CARICOM doesn't give a damn. CARICOM was in Guyana when all of those people were being slaughtered. Every morning you wake up, bodies in the cane fields, bodies killed and slaughtered and on the sides of the road, bodies in the trenches, bodies in car trunk. CARICOM did nothing. CARICOM did nothing.
You know, and that's why I ask, you know, because it seems like to me,
Marcia, stick a pin. I see the regional vice chairman joining us, Mark Goring. So the regional vice chairman is going to be like the governor, the deputy governor of that area.
Of Linden.
Of the entire region. So Linden is a tongue within Upper Demerara Berbice region.
Okay.
And so he is the vice chairman, or you'll say the deputy governor of that.
In 1 mile, half-mile 4 corner, where the 2 young men reside.
Mark, can you hear me?
Area that
Mark, can you hear me? I'm not seeing you. I guess they're out and mingling among the protesters, so that the service is bad.
Yeah, so I think it's loading. It seemed to be loading. So we'll wait. Okay, so this is the upper. He is like the governor for the Upper Demerara area.
Upper Demerara Berbice. region.
Burmese,
So
sir.
he's the deputy. He's the number two.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
So
Okay.
the two elected officials we had before were the members of parliament for that
Right.
area. We didn't get to talk to Jermaine. I guess Jermaine is driving, so his internet is not stable.
Yes. Well, let's hope that they will be. So how does this affect, say, the children in the area? Will there be school tomorrow? What happens with the citizens in Linden?
No one knows. I guess there will not be school tomorrow. No, but people are going to be scared to send the children to school. I don't know what decisions they were made. I'm trying to get the mayor, but the school would come under the regional chairman. I mean, we have a decentralization of government, so of course, the schools come directly under the Ministry of Education, but then it's decentralized. So the representative of the Ministry of Education is the regional education officer who comes under that regional administration, of which the vice chairman is a part. So hopefully, I'm trying to get some more of them. They said they're in a meeting. So I've reached out to the mayor of Linden. I've reached out to the regional chairman of the region and the MPs. We had both MPs join us. I'm waiting to see if we'll be able to get the mayor.
So while you're looking for that, while you're trying to make those connections, I noticed Mr. Mohammed he's East Indian, and he's very well liked by and loved by Black Guyanese. And I saw a video where they're actually calling for Mr. Mohammed to come to the area. Can you explain that dynamic for me? Because we're talking here about racism and East Indians and Blacks and so on. But I saw them hugging him, kissing him, loving upon him. And I saw a video where they're actually calling for him to come to the area.
Well, Mr. Mohammed it seems to be a phenomenon. He seems to be forming a movement. He's a billionaire. He's been very generous and magnanimous with his money. He has been going throughout the country and helping single mothers. He's been giving out cars to people who need it for their business and so on, building homes for poor people. And so you'll find somebody with that kind of magnanimity and generosity attracting people from all races. Now, I should say that he used to be apparently associated with the ruling party. As a matter of fact, there are checks and all that sort of thing showing how much hundreds of millions of dollars that they give to the ruling party. Like I said, there's a falling out because the Mohammeds seem to think that the government has thrown them under the bus, the party that they supported for all these years. And after they were sanctioned, the government took away all their licenses, tried to block all their businesses. Now they have a big security firm with all sort of modernized weapons. The government has now seized those, suspended the security license. The father accused them of plotting to kill his son. And so there's a big fallout as a result of the sanctions imposed by the United States government on that family. And a little bit of that too is, to me, coming from, that's my analysis, coming from not only because of his generosity and he's been helping people, a little bit of that is also as a result of the fallout from the ruling party. People tend to like somebody who they see has moved onto their side politically.
Oh, I see.
Also, the government has been, like they've done with everybody else, abusing the power of the government to go after them, because he has been attracting this huge crowds and so on whenever he travels around the country. And so that too has, to me, earned him some level of support and sympathy, because those Afro-Guyanese who are supporting him would have seen the government abuse them, and they can identify with it. You don't support the government, then they come after you. They send the police after you. You may have seen the big commotion a few days ago when the government sent the customs and anti-narcotics unit and the police to seize his luxury cars. He has dozens of cars. And they said that he evaded taxes. Now, somebody had to release those vehicles. So there should be an investigation how these vehicles were released in the first place for them now to claim that 4 years later he didn't pay taxes. But that was part of the corruption. As a matter of fact, the US government sanctioned the permanent secretary in the Ministry of Home Affairs for taking bribes from this same family and for selling gun licenses and so on. So it's, you know, the government is corrupt. We saw the vice president was caught on tape, allegedly attempted to negotiate a $500,000 bribe from some Chinese business people who turned out to be journalists posing as Chinese business people. It's a very corrupt government. And so he apparently is going to run for political office. And so now the government is arranging their supporters to attack him, etc. Let them sort it out. But he is attracting cross support in terms of not only cross political, but also cross racial support. And of course, you know, he's a fashion icon. He's a younger person. And so the younger generations in Guyana seem to be willing to entertain diversity in their politics.
Okay, because I mean, it was quite interesting because I would have been following what's been happening racially in Guyana, and to see them, you know, really doting on this East Indian, and they, you know, but I do understand the point you're making.
But I want to emphasize that not all East Indians are racist. I happen to think that the East Indians in the PPP leadership are racist. There are people in the there are East Indians in the PPP who are not racist. I have friends in the PPP. So I don't think that they're racist, but the leadership, right, they thrive on racism. That's the lifeblood of the party. It's in their DNA. Now, because of migration, thousands of their supporters have left. They've lost probably about 50,000 supporters over the last 5 or 4 years. So now what they're doing is bringing Venezuelans in and rapidly trying to give them citizenship so that they could vote, or they have an aggressive outreach to the Black community, and in so doing, they're reviving history. Now they're saying it was the police that killed the people, not the PPP, and they're saying, oh, we always love Black people. Black people are the best thing since sliced bread. We never starve your community for funds, and you can look at the community and see them run down. That community, Linden, Linden, they've always starved Linden for fun. Linden is like a stepchild for them, right? Why? Because Linden is the bastion of the opposition party, right? Yeah. The city council, they only have 1 seat in the city council in Linden, and probably 2 seats in the whole region, the regional Democratic Council. So it tells you, probably out of 15. So it tells you how Black that community is, and they've always punished Linden. They've always used excessive force to put down any sort of protest in Linden.
So you're what you're really saying is a philosophy of the party. The philosophy of that party seems to be, you know, always discriminating against.
Yeah, it's an ethnocracy. They believe in using all the resources of the state at their disposal to enhance their own ethnic collective. In addition to that, what they have been doing when they came to power, they give their East Indian supporters all the government contracts, hundreds of billions of dollars in the contracts. And we started to condemn it. And then they started to diversify their contractor pool. And in fact, even though they attempted to give some Blacks some contracts, they were minimal, like a contract to clean a drain or a contract to patch some holes in the street or go and sweep the park or whatever it is, like menial things, you know, the crumbs from the table. They can't bring themselves to the realization that we are their equals. We are all human beings. They think we're lesser than them. You see, they call us all sort of things, dog, N-word, I mean, whatever.
They've done that to me.
That's how they've oriented their cult.
Yeah. But you know, I'm thinking, where do we go? What is going to happen to these communities? It's now, what time is it? It's 4:37 now, right? As night falls, what can we say to Linden residents, Mr. Burke? What would you say?
My message to Linden residents is to be resolute. Do not destroy your community. Do not perpetrate violence. but exercise your right to protest. None of us want to see the community of Linden destroyed. None of us want to see violence. None of us want to see more death.
Right.
And so they must be resolute in the exercise of their right to protest. They must be resolute against oppression. Do not allow anybody to trample on your rights or deny you your right to exercise those freedoms enshrined in the Constitution. And my word to the police force is that somebody has to be held accountable. You cannot go on in life normally after killing yet again another set of Black youth. The police commissioner, as Amanda said, should resign. The Minister of National Security should resign. There must be accountability. We hope that these police officers will be charged. I see the president put out something saying that he plans to go to Linden and the officers involved in both incidents. He says both incidents. Let me see if have been arrested. Mark said he's still trying to get onto us. Let me see if I can find a statement.
Yeah, because it's that'd be interesting that it escalated so quickly. I mean, they had such a glowing report of what occurred that they followed all the procedures. They were in uniform. When we look on the video, and they were not in uniform, they said the guy was jumping over a fence. The place seemed to me, from what I saw before you even said it, it seemed like an enclosed
Exactly.
area. So everything that they have said that, I didn't know, I don't know how long they took to get to the airport. I mean, the airport, but to the hospital. But based on what eyewitnesses are saying, that you're saying, that it took them a while. And I know it's a tactic that they do in the police force. They want you. Then they do it in Jamaica all the time. They shoot them, and then they take a whole long time to get to the police station to let them bleed out. And
well, all of them should be charged with murder. So this is what the president says. I've been fully briefed on the current situation in Linden. The commissioner has advised me on the immediate actions taken. 1, the police officers involved in the 2 incidents are currently under close arrest. 2, a full investigation will be conducted with the support of the regional security system based in Barbados, which is nonsense. The regional security system is just a joke. All they could do is push paper. Every aspect of these incidents will be examined thoroughly and transparently with external oversight, whatever that means. I will meet with the family members and the community leaders to ensure their voices are heard and their concerns are taken fully into account. I'm appealing to all residents to remain calm and allow the independent investigation to be completed. All actions required as a result of the findings of this investigation will be pursued to the fullest extent. I ain't hear up to now we calling the police to stop shooting the people. I ain't hear he condemn the police killing these 2 young people. Nothing. And this is the callousness associated with his government. Now, were these 2 East Indian young men? Hold on. Yeah. Can somebody, I have to come up because we have a meeting with the mayor of New York City coming up at 6 o'clock, but we can stay on for another half an hour or so. Can somebody send me via WhatsApp the video footage of the police running, armed police running from PPP supporters at Bart Settlement? Can somebody send me that footage ASAP so I can show the dichotomy? I want Marcia to see and the rest of the Caribbean to see how they deal with these Syrian supporters of the PPP and how they deal with Black people. Run. They were running. The police had to run. One man come out in the street with a gun, firing it up in the air. The police right there, they can't do anything. The police shot the PPP, one of the PPP supporters chopped a police sergeant with a cutlass. Chop him. He was shot. I think he died. Right? And this man was in hospital for 2 weeks. Other than that, all the rest of them run, retreat. They're scared because if they take action, all hell is going to rain down on them by the people in the Guyana Police Force. Sorry, by the leadership of the PPP.
I'm hoping, I'm really, really hoping that there is calm overnight, as Mr. Burke is saying. We are speaking to the people in Linden to be resolute, demand justice. It's important. The lives of those two young men matter. Whether they are blacks, whether they're East Indians, their lives matter. And I'm asking everybody in the Caribbean, everybody, those who are watching in Barbados and other Caribbean island, Barbados is where I'm based. I'm asking you to put up this information, put up go and search. You can search and find it. It's all over social media, Instagram, Facebook, what's happening in Linden. Put it up on your page and call for accountability. Call for asking for who authorized the live rounds, asking for thorough investigation. Treat this as though this was George Floyd, because we love to copy, Mr. Burke, what we see happening in America, and this is a real test. What we did with those protests, Caribbean, called Black Lives Matter. What was that all about? What was that? Was that we were following what was happening? And I've been saying that on my show for a while. We don't care. Guyana is right here. We don't care about Guyanese and what they're experiencing in Guyana. That doesn't matter. But we're going to shed a tear. We can shed a tear for our Black American brothers and sisters, which we should, right, Mr. Burke? But we're saying, take a
now
look.
we're seeing
What's happening in Guyana.
we're seeing let me see if I can pull it up. I think Azuddin Mohammed is in Linden right now. That's the video I'm getting. Looking at one of the dead young men. I'm gonna call. Hi, Colin. Oh, let me see if I can pull.
Yes, as you're
I'm
doing
getting
that,
some messages. Let me see.
To like and to share both on Rickford's page and on the Marcia Week show. Send it out to other people in different regions. Barbados, send it to Trinidad, send it to Grenada, send it out. These are our brothers and sisters. These are our brothers and sisters. I've had Guyanese in Barbados who've called me today really, really concerned about their loved ones in Linden. And so I'm asking you guys, send this all about and let people know what is happening in Guyana at this moment. Thank you so much.
Sure. Okay. So now I'm getting up the video. I think I found the source of the video. This is the young man that you were asking about, currently in Linden.
Oh, okay. So Mohammed went?
Yes, he's there partying now.
In less than 24 That officer dropped the gun that he was using with the tear gas, pull out his pistol and gave to the guy.
So this is the young man who was shot, who was not a part of the protest. So there's other footage now. Let me see if I can find that with the other young man that was killed and his family looking at the body.
Oh goodness. My condolences go out to the families, all the loved ones of these two young men who were slain in Guyana. Black men are just being killed left, right, and center in Barbados. We're seeing an escalation in homicides in Barbados, and the victims are Black men, Black people. Black people they're killing each other. Stabbings and gun violence is on the rise.
I'm not sure what's going on. Yeah. So here's the other body.
Guys, please share, continue to share, and continue to send it around and let
This is the first young man that was killed.
oh wow. You see, and Rickford, what do you think?
Yes, go ahead.
These young, what we don't understand is that there becomes all these young men you see they're crying over that body and their friend, that's their friend. What they don't realize is that when there is no justice, all that happens is that the government potentially creates more, deviant
Hatred.
behavior.
Hatred for
Yeah,
them.
hatred
Yeah.
for the
They're,
government.
they're, they're, they they cause a generation of militants to emerge.
Yes, yes, correct. Correct. And what would have happened in 2012, a lot of the those who are millennials now, they would have seen that. You know what I mean, Rickford, a lot of the older ones in the other age group, and they have developed a hatred for government, for the police, because they saw that happened to the three young men who were killed in 2012, and nothing came of it. They didn't even reward the families, or the case was tried, and as based on what you're saying, they were rewarded, monetary reward, and
The
they
the
didn't get.
Nope. Up to now, government refused to give it to them, and that's been the situation with courts in Guyana.
Yeah, I
This
said
government
rewarded,
doesn't pay.
awarded. I should have said awarded. Yeah.
Yeah, this government. Somebody's telling me they have the tape with the protests in the other side and how the police reacted to that. Um,
Mm.
so I'm waiting for it.
Yeah, and I'm hoping Barbadians are watching and seeing what's happening here, and this is why we're calling for, yes, the police needs to be allowed to do their job. They need to be properly paid, etc. But we also need to hold the police accountable. They need to be
Hmm.
properly trained. They need to be following the policies of the police service, all of that, the rules and regulations, of policing,
Hmm.
very important, in order for us to deal with crime. But the police themselves cannot be committing the crimes, you know.
Let me see. I'm trying to see if I have that video. Um,
Folks, please put this out on social media, on your social media pages, whether Instagram. Think about if this was your family member, especially, I mean, both of them, but especially that young man, the what is being claimed by the citizens and the MPs in the area, that a young man was just riding a bicycle. He was not even part of the protest, and he was shot and killed by the police. They did not there was no tear gas, it appears, from what we are understanding. The pellets were said to be released after they release
mhm.
live bullets. I mean, why? You could have killed anybody. You just open fire on people. This is what used to happen in the 60s in the US, where they turned the dogs on the people, on black people, as they protested, or they put the hose on them, or they fired shots in the crowd. It's almost like we're going back
Yep.
to that time, and it's happening right here in the region. Do you understand what it is? You're protesting, and the police is supposed to be de-escalating the situation, but then takes out his gun and shoots into the crowd.
That's what they do. That's what they do, and the government likes it because they think it would make the people fearful of the police. So when there's election and so on, and people are protesting, if they feel that the government cheated, you'll be scared when you see the police because you know the police are going to shoot and kill you. I mean, that's the reality. That's the reality. And you know, nothing. I assure you, Marcy, nothing will happen here. Nothing. Nothing. The police officer probably will be charged with some nonsense. And that trial is going to come in about 5 years. And, you know, the life will go on as normal in Guyana. 2 young men lost their lives.
And you know, Mr. Burke, they have the governments of our region, through their policies, they have kept us so far apart. Thank God you and I, we share a lot in common, and on these things we come together. But even our you know, our news sources, you know, everything is so delayed. We're not connected.
We're not.
And we're not connected. And one of the ways we can stay connected, Caribbean, is through social media. We don't need to wait on our governments
Exactly.
to connect us.
The
We can
people
connect
and
as
organizations,
people.
we need to connect. And, you know, to some extent, I also blame the leadership in Guyana, opposition leadership. We have to maintain, and civil society, we have to maintain relations with our sisters and brothers across, not only across the Caribbean, but across the world. And that doesn't happen. And so the people in Guyana are there, they suffer, they feel isolated. They endure the lack of political leadership. And, you know, that's how the cookie crumbles for some in Guyana, especially poor people. They're the ones suffer. These 2 young men have been killed. Their families will mourn and grieve, and people will call them and say they sympathize. And after they're buried, that's it. That's it. The government is going to fight any attempt through the courts to get them compensation. The government is going to blame them and say they were out there terrorizing people and they're hooligans, and you know, and the people of Guyana will accept it.
That is, and you know, before, I know you have a meeting now, but I want to ask something in the statement from the president. Kind of concerns me. You said in that statement, the statement you read, that they will be supported by regional security forces that are based in Barbados?
No, so CARICOM has this regional security arrangement where it is coordinated. The headquarters is in Barbados, but it's coordinated. It's just a coordinating unit. So if there's need for certain experts in certain things, they pull them from different jurisdictions in the Caribbean. So it's called Regional Security Force, and it's headquartered in Barbados. But they don't have the expertise, as far as I'm concerned, for these kinds of things. You need forensics experts, you need pathologists, you need serious investigators. You know, you need people who can administer lie detector tests. If you're gonna do a serious investigation, all that man saying who me see who shoot me, know who get the yard, me gun the there somewhere, the cock and it must be went off, and so you need to put them in, you know, administer lie detector tests. You need to check their bullets, their guns, to see who gun went off, how many rounds were shot. You need to sweep and comb for forensic evidence on the ground. Who is there preserving the crime scene? This is a murder. This is a murder. I don't see anybody from the government, from the police force forensic lab going and collect the spent shells, and I'm pretty sure that crime scene is not cordoned off. So people are trampling on it, walking through it, passing through it. The people probably sweep the place, right? Nothing is preserved. No forensic evidence. No fingerprints. Nothing. And how are you thoroughly investigating this thing? So what our finale just said is a big bluff. Right? He thinks that's going to appease people. These matters are not taken seriously.
Yeah.
Who are the experts coming? Are they coming from the FBI? Yeah, people can be interested in that. What nonsense you come tell me? But you see, they don't want the FBI to come to Guyana or Scotland Yard or the Canadian Mounted Police because they're going to find things, right? They want the SSR going to come. So after the man from SSR come, they could offer you a chain and give you a little rum and send you by 2 little girls and pay them some money, and they write a nice report and they leave. That's what happens.
But this coordinating of police services throughout the region, aren't they from the same through the same CARICOM? Isn't this from through the same? It happens through the CARICOM nations.
It's a CARICOM entity. It's a
Right.
CARICOM entity.
So how are they going to? I mean, if the leaders, I mean, all of this has been happening in Guyana based on just my reporting on it and based on my research on it, and we have not had a comprehensive position then from CARICOM on this particular issue.
CARICOM doesn't get involved because you know what?
Doesn't get involved.
They
So
want them so-called gangsters in the PP government cuss them out, right? Jack, they go and cuss them out and at a press conference and tell them the most vulgar things about themselves and so on, and they just run up with themselves, put their tail between the foot and gone. RSS was part of the investigation of the Henry Boy's murder. Up to now, we ain't seen no report. No report. The Guyana Defense Force helicopter crash killed 6 people. No report. They don't have to report to the country. Venezuela, you know, sending their army ships to harass the oil production vessels in Guyana's waters. No report. No, nothing. They don't have to, you know, they own the country. The PPP owns the country. Them, their grandfather dead and left Guyana upon the will for them. So that's how they operate. No report, nothing. President goes abroad, have meetings, don't come back, don't report to the country, nothing. You know, not to now, we don't know. They withdrew $3.2 billion from the oil funds. Up to now, we don't know how it was spent. $3.2 billion US dollars? Where was that spent? You know, they built a road from Diamond to the back road to Mandela Avenue, right? A few miles. They call it Heroes Highway. I always know it was a road. The Secretary of State had to come and insult them and tell them you know, the road is going to almost give them concussions, right? And you think they would call in the contractor and ask the contractor what the hell going on with this road? This road is deteriorating. You had to wait till the United States Secretary of State come and tell the road bad. And then they lie to the man and tell the man the Chinese build the road. Is the president friend from Trinidad build the road at East Indian. He get the contract.
But you know, when you think of the imminent threat of Venezuela right there, this is a time that the country should really be coming together. You know, everybody should be coming together to deal with that threat. But then
they should. But you know, listen, Venezuela is putting out maps showing Guyana is part of theirs. The school children are learning it. The president doing a mock election saying he electing the governor Escribo, and the governor Guyana is silent. Not a word in the primary schools, not a word in the nursery schools, nothing in schools, no public relations campaign, nothing. Right? They're encouraging Venezuelans to come to Guyana so they could register them to vote. And in the process, they're bringing all sorts of secret agents and special forces and Navy SEALs from the Venezuelan army among the population, right? They don't know. Everybody just live in Guyana. They're more in region 1, Burima Waimi, which is another region of Guyana, which is you know when you look at the map of Guyana, you see that tip that almost come up. That's region 1. You have more Venezuelans living there than Guyanese. The people are slowly populated as we want them to say, are they concerned about it? How much of them Venezuelans can vote for everybody? Like we give them ID card, so they vote them black people, they say. That's their mentality. That's their mentality.
It's a similar thing that is happening here, you know, but in our case, it seemed to be you know, they're bringing in people from Jamaica, different places, and you know, they're allowed to vote, and now we're hearing through the university, you know, we are now treating African students as CARICOM nationals. You know, they're getting.
Well, in Guyana, they're sending them back. Guyana, the Nigerian students who still want to come to our law school, these guys are sending them back. Haitians are banned from coming to Guyana. You gotta get you have to get a visa as a Haitian. And mind you, Haiti is a member of CARICOM.
Correct.
Right? We supposed to have free movement. No, but they're banning Haitians, but they're sending. Oh, here's a video of the police running from the PPP supporters. I'm not sure how I'll be able to
show it.
show it. Let's see.
If not, I'll do it on my show tomorrow. But I just want to say to everybody who is on both on Rickford's page and channel and on the Marcia Weeks Show channel, share this live so that we can all be educated about what is happening in Guyana. Beautiful Guyana. I love Guyana. I'm hoping to visit there before the year is up. But you have something to share here.
I was trying to, but I'm not getting. I'm not sure. I'm not sure I'm working the technology right. Let me try again. Let me try one more time. Let me see. I'm seeing it on my screen, but I'm not getting to.
Okay.
Let me see if I can. Oh yes, I think I got it. Let's see. There you go. I'm working the thing right. All right, there you go.
Yes.
Lori, Scott, Lori.
Then the police running from them. Those are PPP supporters protesting. And the police came in and they run. What run? But black people, they would turn and shoot them. Right? You see how the police running?
Yes.
Yay!
I saw it look like somebody was shooting a gun as well.
Yes.
Cooperation to the highest. Lori, Scott, Lori.
That's how the police operate in the East Indian communities. In the black communities, they shoot them and kill them. But they might run from these people in.
Wow. So it seemed to just be wow. This is
The force is only applicable when they're in the black communities.
Oh my goodness. This is
Anyways, it's just about 5:55. I have to go. Thank you for joining me, Marcia. Thanks to all of you who joined. Wow, we have 24,000 people watching us live.
Oh my goodness.
24,000 people.
Wow. Wow. Well, we are listen, we're wishing calm for Linden, but I'm also joining with Rickford and saying to those in Linden, yes, don't tear your community apart. Don't hurt each other. Don't hurt your community, but be resolute. Stand up for justice. And I'm asking everybody in the Caribbean region, share this live. Share all you can find on Guyana. Let us help the Guyanese, help Linden. Use social media. We understand the power of social media. Twitter, Instagram, WhatsApp, Facebook. Let's show it and show the world what is happening in Guyana. Let there be justice in Linden.
Thank you. Last word. Yes. Thank you very much, Cindy. We'll be Marcia. I'll be back on Thursday for another edition of Conversation with Work. Have a good night, everybody. Thanks for joining.